Many strides, one dream. Many heartbeats, one pulse. Sagicor, celebrating Jamaican success. The time by Sagicor is
7 o'clock.
On this week's episode of Cooking with Love.
And this your girl Florence Eluche from Haiti. And you're watching Cooking with Love.
Eluche is in the building. When you talk about Asian, hip-hop, Creole, can't get it no better than this. This young lady, bad, but minister posts nothing about food. So we're gonna put her to the test right here on Cooking with Love. Yeah.
No.
Cooking with Love crazy.
Are watching Cooking with Love.
Central Expressions, your best source for business, tourism, and entertainment. Tune in to Central Expressions on CVM TV, Sundays at 3 p.m. Repeat Fridays at 9 a.m. Central Expressions is brought to you by the Gulf View Hotel in the heart of Jamaica, from the hearts of Jamaicans. The Orbin Group, Real Essence Media, National PC Bank, Central Expressions, your voice, your culture.
All right, guys, the news is in. You are loving MTM on CVM.
And for those who don't know, we are the Mitchells. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Tammy.
And you can come along with us on our journey every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Right here, you can see it happening on CVM TV.
Yeah, MTM on CVM.
See it happen, man. CVM, man. MTM, man. CVM, man. See it happen, man. CVM, man.
In CVM News at 7, 8 killed in Cherry Tree Lane massacre. Prime Minister Holness condemns heinous Clarendon carnage, and families lose everything to fire in Discovery Bay.
Also this evening, Janice Allen to contest Central St. James for the PNP. In the business report, the U.S. economy and Jamaica. And in sports, Paris hands over Olympic duties to L.A. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Carolyn Brown. It's Monday, August 12, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, we begin with a story that continues to dominate headlines, a mass shooting in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, which claimed 8 lives and left 9 people nursing injuries.
Now the authorities have declared a curfew in the area. Our reporter Ramon Gordon is on standby.
Now, the Prime Minister has promised nothing short of retribution for the criminals who mercilessly killed civilians in Clarendon on Sunday. CVM News visited the community early Monday, where, among all else, the air was tense, with bloodstains still very visible. The police say the assailants were deliberate, using military-grade weapons to carry out their attack. The community is devastated.
I was over there, standing in the middle, and then I heard gunshots. I ran off, and one of my friends fell.
I'm in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, where yesterday the streets became bloodstained. 8 people, including a young boy, were massacred here at a bingo game. The incident leaving 9 others, including an infant, injured. The event has rocked the community.
Devastating, dark, make the whole scene even now look black to me.
The fear was palpable on the ground. Some stared in disbelief, while others recounted the brutal Sunday slaying which sent shockwaves across the island.
My baby getting dead. The man comes to my cousin Nelly couldn't.
CVM TV News interviewed several survivors of the bingo carnage, but we were advised by security forces to withhold identities as investigations persist. You're about to hear from another at the heart of the controversy.
It was my baby father's birthday, and we just decided to cook some food, and family and friends get together and we just eat and enjoy ourselves. My mother, you know, she lose her belly pain. Her husband dead in her hand.
One woman lost her cousin, husband, and daughter.
Another man lost his uncle, cousin, sister, and nephew. He was too dumbfounded to offer anything beyond tears.
You can see the tragedy. You can see the boxes of food that have been left on the table. You can see the blood. You can see just the trauma that took place.
The authorities have described the event as a terror attack, with police imposing a 96-hour curfew in the community. The constabulary has also deployed units to the surrounding areas.
The perpetrators of the crime, we are pursuing them, and we promise you as a community that we are going to find them.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
Cherry Tree Lane is not one of those communities that you hear about very often, and the residents there prefer it like that. Cherry Tree Lane is about 6 kilometers from Maypen, the parish's capital, and 57 kilometers from the nation's capital, Kingston. The community is located central in the southwest Clarendon constituency and consists of mostly low-income to middle-income earners. Around 1,500 to 2,000 persons live there, with a good mix of teachers, police officers, and entrepreneurs who leave the community to work, while others set up enterprises there. The community is made up of other classifications of workers, particularly in construction. The children attend nearby schools such as Fogar Road Infant, Four Paths Primary and Junior High, Fogar Road, and Knox Community College. Some of the same challenges that confront most communities are present in Cherry Tree, water being the most significant. Crime had not been one of those challenges until now. Back to the news desk.
Thanks, Ramon. And the National Security Council, the Prime Minister and his deputy, met on Monday. In addition to condemning the act, they have expressed a plan to curb crime in the area. Courtney Lewis continues our coverage of the Cherry Tree Lane massacre.
It is a criminal act. It is against our laws. It is an attack on the public order. But I want you to consider for a moment that it goes beyond the victims. It goes beyond the community in which it was perpetrated. It is an attack on every Jamaican.
Sunday evening's mass shooting in Clarendon has called for swift treatment by the security forces. The response was supported by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who in a media briefing on Monday said the incident will not be treated lightly.
Organized armed violence is an act of terror, and we must treat them as criminal terrorists. So the security forces have been given the direction. Operations are already underway from all levels. Intelligence, from the kinetic operations in the field, to seeking the support of our partners to get those who are overseas, who are facilitating and directing and funding the criminal operations here. No stone will be left unturned.
Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang also gave his assurance that police remains on high alert.
All action will be started immediately, and the security forces provide those. I will, in fact, as I said, accept the recommendation for extensive curfews across the central, southern Clarendon, north and south St. Catherine as required to give the police the required powers to find, apprehend, and disrupt the gangs in these areas.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey, while unable to divulge details, further outlined the directives of the constabulary force.
We have imposed a curfew in the area, and we will be engaged in a lot of activities to ensure that those who are responsible are brought to justice. We will identify and locate the suspect. We will ensure to mitigate any form of reprisal by our presence.
The Prime Minister concluded a joint effort between the JCF and other security forces will be undertaken to prevent intergang violence. Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
The parish of Clarendon is no stranger to mass murders and killings. History bears the proof. As our reporter Nika Lewis explains, there's evidence of nearly one mass killing there per year in the last 4 years. She joins us to review the history of that central part of the island, once among the most murderous in the country.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, Clarendon, Jamaica's third largest parish behind St. Catherine and St. Anne, bears a bloody past dating back, like much of the country, to slavery. But after many years, it became a place of history and relative peace, later ruptured by criminal groups and gun runnings as select industries there dried up. Many resorted to violence over time, predominantly who, among other things, fell prey to mass killings, to include the popular Crawl incident in 2003. In that incident, police led by then SSP Renita Adams fatally wounded 4 youngsters during an operation in the area. While decades on and the history of the parish remains stained by crime and violence, even with recent reductions. And what might have been near impossible for some was not for the gangsters and crime influences there, who secured at least 5 mass murders in the last 4 consecutive years. By mass murders, we mean the international definition of the killing of 3 or more people, and that is not legally justified or excusable in a single incident at a single location. That's a definition by the U.S. federal law. History recalls the slain. You'll see on screen Havana Heights, September 2021. Gunmen wreaked havoc, killing 4 people. That tragedy orphaned a young boy around 3 or 4 years old at that time. And a year later, in Cocoa Peace, June 2022, Rashane Barnett reportedly single-handedly cut down a mother and her 4 children, who ironically were his relatives. He's now serving 5 life sentences after his speedy detention and charge. But not even that could deter the criminals who in June 2023 shot and killed 3 people in the Grantham area of Havana Heights at a shop. And that incident was believed to be an act of reprisal following the killing of a farmer back in 2022. And the mass murders didn't end there. Gangsters on October 5 that same year would create another bloodbath, this time in Summerfield, just outside a lounge and grill where 4 men were shot and killed sometime after 1 in the morning. And then Jamaicans were jolted by the news of one of its largest mass murder incidents yet, when gunmen violently shook Cherry Tree Lane, 4 Paths, with a nightmarish attack Sunday night on 2 gatherings, leaving 9 dead, or reportedly at least 8, and 9 others hospitalized. So is there a trend on the rise? What's triggering the bloodlust? And what will it take for it to end? We'll, of course, have our experts responding to this, not just tonight, but later on in the newscast this week.
CVM News at 7 will continue after this break. Stay with us.
Do you know that the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, or BSJ as we are known, has been serving and helping Jamaican businesses to grow for over 54 years, now testing over 57,000 products annually? The BSJ develops and promotes standards for products consumers see and use every day. We stand tall as your quality assurance partner, testing a range of products including foods, construction materials, petroleum products, packaging material, cosmetics, paints, and pharmaceuticals. Did you know that the BSJ has over 20 labs in Kingston that conduct these tests, operating at the highest international standards, giving you the speed to take your products from the lab to market, driving your business growth with 100% confidence.
The best Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best, you are number 1. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome, that's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way, the taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King, best tasting
is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back. Well, you heard the questions leading into the break. What's triggering the bloodlust and what will it take for it to end? Criminologist Dr. Jason Mackay believes the latest mass murder must be met with extreme measures. We go to Nika Lewis for more.
Criminologist and veteran crime fighter Dr. Jason Mackay is cautioning that despite the appearance of a trend, singular incidents must not be used to assume patterns or create panic. This as CVM News assesses concerns around what some have suggested could be a pattern with mass murders in Clarendon in recent years.
No way is mass shooting isolated to Clarendon. There was a mass shooting in Old Harbour year before last at Spring Village. 13 people were shot. You know, this is not as exceptional or singular as you may believe. This particular incident is particularly heinous because of the volume of persons who were injured. The victimology shows that these persons don't fit the age group of anybody involved in gangs whatsoever, which makes it even more tragic because these are innocent people just having something at bingo. And I think what this is indicative of is of a country that needs to be at war with the gangs that are at war with them.
The security expert notes the ongoing battle between gangs and criminals in the Central Parish has been yielding a significant reduction in crime. However, he maintains this incident stands out next to the Tivoli incursion, given the high number of fatalities and injuries. But is society its own enemy in the war on criminals?
This country is not yet engaged in a war against the gangs as a unified body, you know. There's currently a number of institutions in this country that are very, in my way, offer a lot of support to gangs. In the way they approach things. I think the police force and the army are very much at war with the gangs, and I think segments of the society that are adding assistance are at war with the gangs, particularly the persons who live in those communities, which are the victims of the gangs, are at war with the gangs. But Jamaica as a whole, populace, is not at war with the gangs, and that is the reason why it is going to take such a long time to make them impotent.
Dr. Mackay says curbing these heart-wrenching incidents will require some extreme measures.
Approach it like a country at war with a terrorist group, the way that Colombia did with their terrorist groups, the way that that Colombia did with their narcotic traders, would be a good example. The way that El Salvador is dealing with their gangs now is something to look on. Ecuador has taken certain steps. Jamaica is the only one really, not becoming extreme in their fight against the gangs. And I think that, I'm impressed in what is happening. And I think what is happening is indicative of very responsible, hardworking policing. But if you want something to be extreme, to kind of put a stop to this once and for all, you have to become extreme.
The expert describes the incident as sad and a terrible blow to Jamaicans. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
And in other news, a family is in rebuilding mode this evening after fire gutted their residence in Discovery Bay St. Anne at the weekend. Adrian Williams takes us to the scene.
At 9 p.m. on Sunday, when many would be preparing for the work week ahead, it was scenes of despair for some when persons in Top Bay St. Anne watched helplessly as their home went up in flames, leaving the shell structure and remnants of clothes and appliances to tell the tale. Resident David Gordon said he looked out and saw the fire, but thought someone had lit garbage. He was soon alerted to the reality.
The fire still raging. So I said, no. And I come and look. And when I come and look, I saw the fire around the back room. I couldn't enter. And then I went to draw a hose to see if I could do a little thing. And I said, no. And then I call out to my neighbors. Call out, fire, 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 and then everybody start get together and try to, but we couldn't do anything. We couldn't do nothing.
The local fire stations were called, but were unable to blaze a trail fast enough to the inferno.
And it take long because it's all know the fire truck now, all know come. Call St. Bay, and then they call Brownstone. And Brownstone come before. Brownstone came before. But by the time them come, everything gone. Through the fire was raging.
Though no lives were lost in the incident, for house owner Hugh Gordon, over 60 years of memories have perished with the blaze.
Well, it's a big setback, you know. Big setback, yes. To rebuild this, when it costs us a lot of money now to rebuild it.
It's a big loss.
At the time of the blaze, no one was home, as a number of occupants were gone to a football match. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
And CVM News at 7 continues again after this break.
Me, busy as usual, so I don't have no time for holy paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my One JN Passport app. It's a whole new level of convenience and access to services within the JN Financial Group. Just a few taps on my smartphone and box. I can update my personal information, open a JN Bank savings account, and even apply for an unsecured loan. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The One JN Passport app. JN will help you find a way.
Buy a bag of Hypro feeds and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hypro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million. Weekly prizes of $100,000 plus daily prizes. Enter, buy any qualifying Hypro feed and text the entry code in the bag for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hypro Farm to Fortune promotion.
Watch your pocket grow. Watch it grow with Hypro.
Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thanks so much for staying with us. We go back to that Cherry Tree Lane incident with the Prime Minister again issuing a promise to the people of Clarendon and Cherry Tree Lane that no resource will be spared in ensuring those who unleashed death on Sunday night will be brought to justice. He vows they must either face the courts or meet their maker. Here's Nika Lewis with more.
It's among his toughest talks yet.
I want the criminals who are involved in this to take my words very seriously. I am personally looking on all areas of the organization to ensure that all the resources necessary from the state, whether it is the financing, whether it is the international cooperation, whether it is the legislative support, will be made available to the security forces to pursue this relentlessly. They must either meet a judge or meet their maker.
This after the Prime Minister came face to face with the living who now mourn the tragedy and loss of their loved ones following Sunday's grisly attack in Clarendon. He recounts granular details of the horrifying ordeal that left 17 people shot and at least 8 dead. Holness dispelled the notion held that this was a drive-by shooting.
The men, by the reports we have received, alighted from the car, walked a few meters to this establishment, and they pursued individuals and killed, including an 8-year-old youngster who was just killed right behind that car there. They then went back in the vehicle, went further down into the community, came out of their vehicle again, pursued individuals, and
one person was killed. So I want it to be understood that this is not what you would describe as a regular criminal act of a drive-by, and even that should never be described in that way.
It's an act of terror, he says, one which will seek to test the mettle of the security forces and the state. For him, it's akin to another macabre episode in St. James last year.
In 2023, I described a similar event as a terror event, where a gangster in Mount Salem in St. James with a high-powered weapon opened fire